Hello, everyone. My name is Karina Damaskin, and I would like to welcome you on the fifth day of the Techstars Startup Week Moldova 2020. During this week, we brought together key ecosystem players such as government, development agencies, investors, and angels, accelerators, and startup hubs, and of course, amazing Moldavian startups themselves for a demo day. Today, we will wrap up the event by bringing another important stakeholder, the corporations, that as such play an important role in boosting innovation by doing massive investments in its growth and further integration. So today is the final day of this event, and it's dedicated to corporate innovations and brings to you the corporate ecosystem players to showcase brilliant case studies, role models, and tools. Today we will discuss the key elements that can boost the cooperation between corporations and startups. If you followed the entire event, if not, you have a chance to do it as it was recorded and can be rewatched on Crowdcast. So if you followed actually the entire event, you shall already know that innovation is possible when the entire framework of stakeholders is well put together and cooperates in harmony. I mean, the legal frameworks, the funding opportunities, access to international markets and brain or otherwise knowledge, acceleration programs, and corporate platforms for integration of innovation and innovative products. And the day is dedicated to how you can benefit from corporate ecosystem players and what they can offer you as a startup. So I'm looking forward to present to you all of our amazing speakers and great leaders in the corporate innovation sector, both local and international. We have speakers from Czech Republic, Belgium, USA, and of course Moldova, that will bring to you their expertise from various perspectives. If you're a company seeking to start working with innovation and startups, you may find it useful to discover the Startup Moldova initiative that plans to create a bridge between main stakeholders and boost the dialogue between them, or hear about the examples of our local speakers. And if you are a startup, you may learn about the tools from international corporations that help startups scale. And if you are an ecosystem player, then Plug and Play case study will be perfect for you. Whether you are following us on Crowdcast or on Facebook Live, I encourage you to engage with us in the comments sections and address your questions to the speakers, as it is the very best moment and opportunity to communicate with the great minds brought to you today. And now let me introduce to you our first speaker on the opening session, Evgeny Frolov.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to welcome you here. So, let me share my screen, and I would like to share with you my presentation. Okay, so I hope that you can see my screen. And we can start, I think. Yeah, please, technical team, confirm me that everything is okay. Yeah, okay, so I can see my screen. So, again, good afternoon to everybody. So my name is Evgeny Frolov, and today we are speaking about corporates and startups. So actually how to build this bridge in Moldova. So, and first of all, let me introduce myself. So I'm working with startups since 2015. I work in different regions: Central Asia, CIS region, Central Eastern Europe. So I'm participating in several international projects across the Europe. So such as EIT Health, EIT Energy. So of course it's connected to health tech, to energy tech, and T-Connector, for instance, creating a network of angel investors across the Europe. I also was and is a part of several accelerators, such as DEX Innovation Center, Ithaca Business Incubator, or Astana Hub in Kazakhstan. I was working as a corporate tracker of Gazprom Neft. I think you have heard about There's such a pretty big company in CIS region. So actually, I was dealing with the internal innovations, helping them to facilitate the innovative projects implemented in the business. And currently, I cooperate with Startup Moldova as a startup tracker, helping the startups from Moldovan ecosystem to succeed and to develop itself. So as you see, a pretty wide experience, and working with let's say all ecosystem players, corporate startups, accelerator incubator itself. So that's why I'm happy to to share with you my experience and my vision on how actually to create this bridge. So as we discussed already, I hope that you follow us since Monday. So and on Monday we actually had a panel discussion talking about triple helix. And as you see, so it consists of three main elements: government, academia, and industry. So actually, of course, so we are talking about governmental support, which we covered on Monday. This topic. Of course, we know and we understand that young people, young educated people, are motivated to do something. So come from university. And of course, we have a plan how to involve more into startup topic universities across the country. But as a table, as a chair, so it can't stay only on two legs. So it should work only in case there are all three key elements which are developed and which cooperate together. And actually, it's not so simple as you see on the screen. Actually, if all three ecosystem elements work, it creates like such a huge network, actually the entire ecosystem across this cooperation. And what's important here is actually close cooperation, close support each of these key elements. And so actually government, of course, create support and create conditions to develop innovations across the country. Academia and so universities, they provide skilled young people to make these innovations happen and to provide deep research, for instance. And of course, industrial players, companies, corporates, they of course have a huge role in this construction, in this ecosystem, because actually they support through majority of resources this development. Again, this leads the country, the whole ecosystem, all industries to a sustainable, innovative future. So that's why actually it's so important. So, but actually coming to details, why it's so important for companies. I found out PwC Breakthrough Innovation and Growth Research, and actually you can see that according to their research, like almost 100 companies see that their growth will be driven by innovations next 5 years rather than M&A activities. Comparing with I believe with the end of last century, mostly the growth was because of the market, because of let's say industrial revolution and so on. But mostly companies like merge and acquire each other and using this to grow. So now it's a new century and it's another story. And you see that, and actually in this research, it was 1,700 businesses were participating in this research. So it's pretty huge number to see to show actually. So what is the majority of business people are thinking about innovations. And also very interesting numbers. So you can see also on your screen. The most innovative companies are set to grow at twice the pace of the global average and 3 times the least innovative over the next 5 years. So that means that top 20% of most innovative companies expect their growth like more than 60% because of innovations. And if you are at the end of this ranking, so of course, so your growth will not be so sustainable, so interesting for investors, for like business owners and so on. So I try to show you that it's not like only I don't know, my personal opinion from my experience, but it's also international research from PwC showing that innovations inside companies, inside middle and big corporations, it's a key element to survive and actually to succeed during the next decade. Of course, so if you are thinking about, let's say, this new times, new century, so we already have 20 years after the beginning, but so it's changing every year dramatically, considering the current situation, these lockdowns, this cut of international activities. Of course, we need to change a lot of things. And what is the most important, how innovations can support corporates, why it's so important to work with innovations and with startups. It's because innovations helps companies to be more flexible, to face new challenges, more prepared, and to change everything inside themselves. Also, of course, so it brings to companies competitive advantages. So now so previously, of course, so you have to create some, I don't know, some new things, new products, I don't know, new marketing campaigns to succeed. But right now, innovations, it's how you can survive on the market and why you actually can be in the competition on some other neighborhood or international markets. So it's not only again about some fun things. It's about how to survive. Also, according to studies, you will find out that it will help to you to maximize ROI. It's also, of course, so current innovations, especially uh, all this 5G and upcoming 6G things, it's helped to increase productivity. Of course, considering all these tools that we have actually nowadays, like for example, this platform, we can organize online event, and this, of course, these online tools, this all these things help us to increase productivity. And if you're talking about corporates, so like for example in Czech Republic, I know that for instance Oracle, they can't attend their office until the end of the year and maybe until spring of next year. So imagine if it will happen, if it happened last year, last century. So that means that Oracle will close, let's say, all these offices until the end of the year. But so nowadays we have all these online tools. We can still keep going our companies, our businesses, and so of course it helps companies to increase productivity. And what is more important, so and of course, I'm not talking about only online tools. So you have, of course, to keep in mind that most of B2B solutions, they focus on maximization of productivity, of making better all internal procedures, adjusting business processes, etc. So making lower costs, increasing the revenue. So that's why implementing all these new tools is crucial for companies to succeed on the market. And at the end of the day, if you're talking about modern corporate culture, if you're talking about employment, employees, of course they. So it's I think the trend of last decade after this Google, Microsoft things. I mean the internal corporate culture. So of course. Talented people, they would like to be a part of innovative team of the company, trying to be modern, trying to be innovative, trying to make life better in the whole for their customers and of course for their clients. I mean, and for employees itself. So to be innovative company right today, so it's of course make a positive impact on company culture, and so you become more attractive for talented people. So when it comes to details, so also we have to take into consideration that so we have to think about real innovations. So recently, you could create a new product, launch a new marketing campaign, new services. So maybe shape your business model. But nowadays, according to the report from BCG, so they're highlighting that following areas of innovations and product development will have the most impact on your industry on the next 3 or 5 years. So if you can see the screen, so you can actually see that it's about adopting new technologies, it's about flexibility, it's about implementing new platforms, it's about analyzing current data, big data analysis, artificial intelligence, and so on. So it's about actually real innovations that help companies to succeed. So so I know a lot of cases when companies try to simulate innovations through some, I don't know, business modeling or new market campaigns. So now it doesn't work. Just keep it in mind. It's very, very important. And so if we address to the international level, to international cases, I think you all know these companies, even though most of them, like Ford, Samsung, Nestle, for instance, they started their path like in the middle maybe of last century. Yes, Ford, we know, started at the beginning of last century. So actually all this, and of course you know that thousands of companies appeared across the whole world each day, not each year, or each day actually. And not all companies started at the beginning of last century, up to date. So actually, so if you check, if you Google these companies, you will find out that so they put a lot of their efforts, a lot of their resources to innovate the processes. So and actually that helped them to keep their position on the market. That helped them to keep their business. So if you can check on the web that sorry, that for example Nestle, Ford, Samsung, they all opened their accelerating program inside the corporates. They try to scout new ideas, new innovations inside their companies through employees. And they also, of course, are open for new startups, for innovations from external resources. I can also tell you that maybe you know, but so on the Russian market, there are like such companies as Sberbank, as I don't know, VTB Bank. So it's not like even fintech startups. Of course, it's a bank. It's old-fashioned banks, but they organized their own accelerators to create actually this bridge between their old-fashioned business and innovations, not to lose their business during the next 5-10 years. So as I mentioned before, it's actually a key thing for companies to keep going. Also, I would like maybe to shortly mention here Estonia. As we all know, they dramatically changed their ecosystem, their political, not political, their legal actually system after the crisis 2008, 2009. And if you check their GDP, it's actually go down so dramatically. And now we know Estonia is one of the most developed startup ecosystems. So I would say it's a third center in Europe, across Europe, top center for startups, for innovations. So that's because the entire society, so all players understood that only innovations can help the country to increase GDP, to come back to to the market positions and to become more successful. So they beat on that, and that actually worked. I think it's a great case that we can have to keep in mind talking about Moldova. And also, I would like maybe to share with you some case from Czech Republic. It's Credo Ventures. So it's a fund started at 2009, I think. So actually, it was one of the first venture capital funds started those days in Czech Republic, and it was started because of investments of Avast. You know that Avast is a Czech company. So those time Avast invested their money to start the first venture capital fund in Czech Republic, and so nowadays Credo is one of the most successful, operating across the Europe, having like a very good and a successful portfolio. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, Czech Republic is also another small country which developed their startup ecosystem in their innovations through the push from the corporate sector. So I think we also have to keep this in mind if we are talking about the future of Moldova. So going to details, what's important for us to understand that it's not one way path. It should be simultaneous action from both sides. We can't deliver innovations like B2B startups and ask companies to work with them. So it's up to you. So do what you want. Of course, we understand that. But all changes start from the willingness to make it. And they succeed through the readiness of all elements, all players. So actually, we are planning to create this bridge working from both sides. So B2B startups and corporations. So it should be efforts put in together from both sides, as I mentioned. So of course, why it's important for startups? So I previously mentioned why it's important for corporates, for companies. Why it's important for startups to have corporates, big companies open for innovations? Because first of all, it's bring a real business challenges for startup teams. So they not like imagine themselves some problems. They can work with something real. It's second one. It's actually create a market for existing B2B startups. They don't need to go abroad and try to compete there with such companies, with like Oracle or whatever. So they can bring a value to local big companies, and actually, so it's very important to create the market for them. Third point, it's of course, it helps and it creates the opportunity to bring the capital to startup ecosystem, because if we check the experience from abroad, of course, corporate companies, they become more and more active in the startup ecosystem, and they invest into companies, they buy companies, and so through that, so they inject actually financial resources for further development of startups, of the ecosystem itself. And of course, if you are thinking about some success stories, so of course success creates success, and so the development of B2B startups and successful cases of piloting and implementing these solutions will attract foreign investments. It will help, of course, growth of the economy. So a lot of good consequences for the economy, for startups, and for companies. So we actually have a plan, as I mentioned. So we understand that we can't just agree with a corporate and just like bring the startup in. So it's your turn to deal with them. So we are done. No, of course. So we have a strategy. we want to share it with you because it's important to actually we have to coordinate our efforts to create a system. I highlight this: we have to create a system to achieve long-term goals and make the economy of the country innovative, competitive, and sustainable. Of course, we know that some companies, and so we'll see during today presentations, that some companies already they have their own initiative. They try to cooperate with startups, doing some hackathons or whatever. What's important, as I mentioned before, is to coordinate efforts to create a system which actually create a funnel, create a pipeline of startups, create a system of and this bridge can work automatically, clear for all sides. So to do that, we offer like four pretty simple steps. Of course, it's not simple, but so we can see it's clear how to deal with that. So of course, we invite all companies to participate in the development of the strategy. We are planning to create a working group, and it's important that it will not be only our ideas, our imagination, how to actually to create this bridge, how to facilitate this cooperation with corporates. We want to create this real, to make this real, to create real conditions for all parties. So we, as Startup Moldova, is ecosystem player, so we are moderator, facilitator of this process. And so, of course, we know the demand and what startups are looking for. So we invite you, companies, corporates, are ready to be modern, innovative, flexible, and competitive. So we invite you to participate in our working group. We will. So it's actually the chance, yes, to influence on the whole on this whole cooperation for the future, and yeah, to be from the beginning on this work. So so this is the first step. So we will discuss everything. So the next pretty simple step is it's actually to organize a hackathon, 3-4 industrial hackathons, which with the strategic partners. And what's important here, of course, hackathon is not like rocket science, but again, it's important to coordinate our efforts. It's important to make a system. And what we want to have here, we have to have here strategic partners and to make industrial hackathons where challenges will come from real business, and teams will be will have further development. How it's usually happen through the hackathon. So usually, so you have some tasks and teams try to do something, but after all, the winner is picked up, and the rest teams will just disappear. So we need to create a system supporting all this initiative. And like organizing industrial hackathons, it's one of the most simple step to do that. But it will be a preparation for the next step. So actually, piloting was important for us. It's organize a pilot of B2B startups with our strategic partners, and of course, it will also be connected with educations. With education inside corporations, how to deal with startups, how facilitate this piloting. We will be there together. As I mentioned before, it's both sides efforts. So we have to change the culture inside companies, and we also have to bring B2B startups. And actually, this piloting phase is crucial for all players because it will actually show us how it will work. And so it will actually be the real step for the first development. But at the end of the day, our goal is much more bigger. So we want to launch by the end of the year a corporate accelerator, and this will be connected with the, as I mentioned, in the development of internal innovation culture. And we have here also some tools to implement in corporates and to help them to deal actually with startups. So yeah, our goal for the end of next year so is to launch first corporate accelerator, inside the country. And I think it will be the beginning of the big successful story.
Thank you, Evgeny. And we are very much looking forward to launching this initiative. This is, I believe this is your call to action to become partners, to become strategic partners in developing that program. And indeed, it is crucial for startups to have this collaboration and support from various stakeholders and have this holistic approach to boosting the innovation and that will help startups succeed and build this correct mindset. So thank you very much. We are running out of time. We are happy to have you with us on board, and we are looking forward to the award ceremony with you today at 7 p.m. So thank you, everyone, and see you at the next track, where we bring international perspective to showcase the way the corporations work with innovation. Thank you.